What's up everyone, I'm Series 6, your salty aerospace technician, and today we're talking about drones within Star Citizen. Now if you're new here and you like what you hear and see by the end of this video, then be sure to like and subscribe for similar content, and please note that this is an ever-evolving game, so things will change over time. Now for a tiny backstory, Saga Data Systems is a main manufacturer of drones in lore, and was known for its more industrial designs. The M3-A Multifunctional Space Drone has been in service for, well, more than 50 years, and was ideal for performing basic unmanned tasks in and around stations. While never fit for any advanced AI communications, the M3-A was perfectly capable of performing any basic assigned task, from simple repairs or tug functions, or manipulation of heavy mining equipment, or even cargo containers. Then, later on, the AMX-1 Repair Bot for personal crafts was introduced. Now, drones were one of those features that actually drew me into Star Citizen. Back in the military, I had my FAA Part 107 and flew drones rather frequently. Now, drones within the game can assist with core functions for different ships and possibly more in the future. All in all, helping accomplish the mission faster and more efficiently in some cases rather than a player can, and can be used to perform more dangerous tasks as well. Ships like the Reclaimer uses drones to assist with salvaging, the Nautilus for mine deployment and decommissioning, the Crucible uses drones for repairing, the Carrack uses them for surveying, the Vulcan uses them for repairing, rearming, and refueling, the Apollo has the Shepard Medilift drone beds, and the Orion has them to assist with chewing those asteroids. So you get the idea. Basically, we have ships that can use drones to assist with its overall purpose. Now, one thing to bear in mind was during the Q&A Reverse the Verse for the Vulcan, the developers discussed a key importance to drones. But just like anything within early alpha, things can and most likely will change. But this was early 2018, and it was stated that nothing could technically stop you from using salvaging drones from a Reclaimer and using it on a Vulcan. In fact, at the timestamp provided below, it was asked during the Q&A if drones on the Vulcan were the same drones that were used on the Reclaimer or the Carrack, or were they different? And it was said they were specialized, but they were made by the same company, which was Saga Data Systems. We mentioned this earlier. They look similar, but they do different things. Now, it was stated that they think at the time you can do this, but you would lose capabilities that are specialized for the drone itself. Like using a salvaging drone on the Vulcan to retrieve a fuel tank from a wrecked ship. But to be fair, they did use terms like probably, so it's just up in the air until they actually do a calling all devs around drones. Then in 2019, we were introduced to the Nautilus. And during the Q&A, it was asked, hey, are drone bays like the one on the Nautilus universal? For example, can they equip repair, refueling drones, and likewise? Can other drone-carrying ships like the Carrack and the Vulcan equip Nemo drones? And it was said that the Nautilus can equip and use drones from the Vulcan and the Carrack, but it lacks the equipment to repair and refit them for their specialized roles. Simply, the Vulcan and Carrack can equip the Nemo drone, but you can't store mines in them, so you would have to deactivate them and just leave them behind. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why ships that incorporated a drone bay were sought after for the longest time. And since this seems to be possible in the future, overall your capability could be slightly hindered if you did this. Let's be real, you do in fact need the right tools for the right job, and while you can hit a nail into place with a Phillips head screwdriver, why not just use the hammer that's right beside you? However, if using different drones is possible from a regional standpoint, it would never hurt to have a couple on standby. Now, if you get into a situation that could allow you to use a different drone, then so be it. As in, making a minor repair via repair drone in the Carrack instead of hitting port, enabling you to stay out longer. Sure, you sacrifice a small portion of capability of surveying, but the trade-off is that survivability. Now, the issue that comes from drones, from a development standpoint of course, is that the biggest thing with them is that different drones have different physical characteristics and different requirements. and some drones are entirely different from another. Plus, their storage has to be physicalized as well. Now, operating them is said to be quite simple. You access the control terminal on a ship and gain control of the drone. This is similar to using a remote turret via an operator seat like the ones you see on the Valkyrie. And you can use the Carrick's drone seat as a prime example to wrap your head around what they're trying to present to you. Okay, so when operating a drone and it starts to get too far away from the control ship, then it will start to get sluggish until it comes to a grinding halt. And then you need to get back in range to regain control of it again. Now, you only can be in control of one drone at a time via each control console. But again, nothing is technically stopping you from launching more than one drone and leaving more than one idle or on a pre-planned job until it's finished with its certain task. Then it will remain idle till you manually control it again. And while it's doing either of these two functions, you can just easily access a different drone and do something different. For example, if I'm in the Vulcan and I have two operators, being one in each console, I could technically launch all 4 drones and each user gets 2. The operator will operate one drone at a time, the other will remain idle. If you decide to make them refuel, then the drones in control will go get the equipment from the ship and refuel the said ship. While the other 2 are doing the task belonging to the other drones that are still idle, and they can do spot repairs or rearming or a combination of the 2. Now, once the 2 drones that are actively refueling are done, then they're not going to move until you log back into it and give it another task or you manually control it. Now, this is somewhat similar to micromanaging fighters and fighter bombers in EVE if you have ever played that game or ever had a carrier or a super carrier. Now, all in all, I believe that this will depend on the ship and the available drones and reserves. It would be cool to see a system for drones similar to a snub fighter. Now, it would basically make it a ship but with size 0 subcomponents instead of regular components to alter these drones to your liking or to a given situation. Now, drones were said to not necessarily have countermeasures, but anything can change at a moment's notice. Also, drones aren't necessarily bound to space. They do in fact have small thrusters that enable them to be used in atmosphere. Now, while we patiently wait for them, I think more than likely we're not going to see them until docking has been implemented due to them being stored and attached to clamps or released like the ones on the Carrick, along with more gameplay loops to support them as well. But it can be very possible that we do in fact see a basic version of drone use in Squadron 42. Honestly, anything is possible with the scope of this game, and I don't have all the answers. I'm just making an educated guess on what really could be placing them on hold for Star Citizen at least. But overall, this is why I think ships like the Vulcan and Crucible are not necessarily a priority. And with the recent calling all devs that explain what's going on with salvaging, well, I can suspect it's quite similar to repairing as well, because let's be real, they're polar opposites of another. One is tearing down, the other one is building back up. Anyways, that's basically all things drones for now. I look onward and upward for more information from them in the future. And hey, if you're also interested in getting more information and clarification, then make sure you ask these kind of questions and stuff like calling all dev threads or Friday Star Citizen Live to get info straight from the horse's mouth. Also, I would like to hear your own thoughts about drones in the comments below. Yes, I do in fact read all my comments, I just choose to ignore the malicious ones. And hey, feel free to like, share, and strike up a convo with your own org or your personal community. And hey, if you really enjoyed this video, then please subscribe and turn on that bell so you get notified for more videos just like this. But until next time, fellow citizens, I will see you on the flip side.